Welcome to Mr. R's art class. In this video, we'll be taking a look at how to make a color wheel. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Thumbs, subs, and ring that bell. Okay, so we're going to have three different measurements for our color wheel. So the first measurement is going to be at a 1 inch. So you're going to need to find the big line next to the number 1. And it's going to be the big line to the right of number 1. That triangle on your compass needs to be pointing to that big line next to number 1 for your first mark. Your second mark is going to be at 2 inches. So you need to find the big line to the right of the number 2. And that's going to be your 2-inch mark. Then your last ring is going to be 3.5 inches. So you need to find that medium-sized line between the 3-inch mark and the 4-inch mark, and that's going to be 3.5 inches right there. So making sure that the triangle on your compass is pointing to that medium-sized mark there. So you have a small line, then the big line, but your triangle should be pointing towards that medium-sized line past the 3-inch line right there. So for this video, I'm going to show you how to make a color wheel. What you're going to need is a regular ruler, a pencil, blank sheet of paper, and a compass. So first thing you're going to do is you're going to take your blank sheet of paper and you're going to fold it the long way, horizontally, and you're going to fold it the short way. So let's go ahead and do that. So first we're folding our paper the long way. And the reason why we're doing this is to find the middle part of our paper. So we folded it horizontally. Now we can open that back up and we're going to fold it the short way. And you can open that up, and where those folds intersect, that's going to be the middle of your paper. So the way that I use my compass is I hold it at an angle. I hold it diagonally. Some people, they hold their rulers straight vertically, up and down, and I find it's a little bit easier if you hold it at an angle or diagonally. I also put a little bit more pressure on the needle itself. I put a little bit more weight. One other thing that I do is I spin the paper when I'm making a circle, and I'm barely touching the paper with my pencil. So the first measurement that we need is going to be at a 1-inch mark. So make sure that on your compass the triangle is pointed towards the 1-inch mark. It's the big line to the right of the number 1. And that your needle is placed where those lines are intersecting. And I'm barely pressing down with my pencil. Just like that. Then the second measurement is going to be at 2 inches. So you got to make sure that you move the triangle of your compass to the big line that's at the right of the number 2. So again, my compass is at an angle. I'm holding it diagonally. I'm putting a little bit more pressure on the compass itself. I'm holding the pencil down with my thumb, and I'm spinning the paper. I'm barely pressing down with the pencil until I get around to the other side here. So the last measurement that we're going to do is going to be at 3.5. So you need to pass the number 3, pass the big mark after the number 3. You're going to see a small mark, then a medium-sized mark. Your triangle needs to be lined up with that medium-sized mark after the number 3. So this is going to be the last mark here. And again, I'm putting a little bit of pressure on the pencil. And I'm spinning the paper. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to make this look like a clock. So at the top of our circle, making sure that the paper is sitting in front of us horizontally, we're going to make this look like a clock. So right where our vertical line is, we're going to write the number 12. Then we're going to write number 3 where 3 o'clock is, number 6 at the bottom, and then 9 on the left-hand side of the horizontal line. So just like a clock, we need to add the numbers evenly between the numbers 12 and 3. So we need to add the numbers 1 and the numbers 2, but we need to make sure that they're spaced out evenly between each other. After the number 3, we need to add the numbers 4 and 5 evenly between the number 6. And then after the number 6, we need to add the numbers 7 and 8, again we need to make sure that they're evenly spaced out between the numbers 6 and 9, so the numbers 7 and 8 are spaced out evenly. And then lastly, the numbers 10 and 11 are evenly spaced out between the numbers 9 and 12. So again, it should just look exactly like a clock. And what we're going to do is we're going to add a dot to the middle of our paper where the lines intersect. And we're going to pass our ruler through from one side of the paper to the other side of the paper. If you need to adjust your numbers, if you notice that some of the spacing might be a little bit off, you could go ahead and adjust that. So again, we're not connecting one number to another number. We're connecting the space between the numbers from one side of the paper to the other side of the paper. So you could maybe even make a mark between those numbers if you want, and then connect those marks. So you can make a mark between those numbers if you want, from one side of the paper to the other side of the paper. So you might make it a little bit easier that way if you make these marks between the numbers and then connect those. So I'm going to go ahead, and one thing that I do is I hold my ruler straight up and down to make sure that it's lined up with these marks here. So it's lined up with this mark that I have on this side of the paper, and it's lined up with this mark on that side of the paper. And making sure that they pass through the middle part of my color wheel. So the marks are lined up, and it's also lined up with the middle part of our color wheel. So you're going to find the next mark, or the next space between, and then make sure it passes through the center of our color wheel. So the mark is lined up with the middle, and the marks are lined up with the sides. Place my ruler flat, and then pass through all 3 rings. So you're going to go ahead and do that all the way around. So this is what your color wheel should look like. Some of these spaces might be a little bit wider than others, and that's okay. So what we need to do now is go ahead and label this color wheel. So number 12 is going to be, I'm going to put a Y next to number 12. Y is going to be for yellow. Number 1 is going to be Y, G. So it's going to be yellow, green. Number 2 is going to be G for green. G for green. And then number 3 is going to be B and G for blue-green. Number 4 is going to be blue. Number 5 is going to be B, V for blue-violet. 6 is going to be violet. Number 7 is going to be red-violet. Number 8 is going to be red. Number 9 is going to be R, O for red-orange. Number 10 is going to be O. And then number yellow is going to be YO for yellow-orange. The way that you're going to color these is, in this middle part here, you're going to take these regular colors. So for example, number 12, you're going to take the regular color and you're going to add white to it. So the way that you're going to color this in, we could look at number 12 for example. So yellow is that you're going to have the regular color in the middle here. So that you're going to have regular yellow in the middle. Then you're going to add white to that yellow, and then you're going to come up with a tint. So this slice here in the middle, it's going to have not only the regular yellow, but it's going to have white added to it, and you're going to create a tint. On this outer part here, you're going to create a shade of yellow. So that means you're going to add black to the regular color yellow, and you're going to create a shade. So you're going to do the same thing with all these different colors on the around the color wheel. So in this middle ring here are going to be your regular colors. So over here on this side you have number 2, which is green. So on the inside here is going to have your regular color green. On the inside slice you're going to have your regular green and mix it with white to create a tint. On the outside, we're still on number 2 here. On the outside you're going to add black to that regular green and you're going to create a shade. Once you have those 2 colors mixed, so you have your yellow and you have your green, you can mix the regular yellow and the regular green to make a yellow green. So this middle part here is going to be your regular yellow green, and then you're going to take that yellow green, you're going to add white to that yellow green, and you're going to get this slice here. You're going to get that tint of yellow green, so it's going to look a little bit lighter. And then on this outer part here, you're going to take that regular yellow green that you had, and you're going to go ahead and add black to it. So all of these different colors on the outside, they're going to look darker. They're going to be different shades. On the inner part here, they're going to be lighter. They're going to be different tints. And then on the inside here, there should be a shade between the tint and the darker part on the outside. So regular colors in the middle, lighter colors on the inside, and then darker colors around the outside. If you have any questions, go ahead and let me know. Thank you for watching the video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. And feel free to watch any of the other related videos.